What is going on, everyone? Matthew97657 here, and today we are back with yet another figure unboxing and review. And as the title and thumbnail suggests, this is going to be the Bandai SH Monsterarts Godzilla 2000 from the film Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. So with that being said, nothing more to it. I'm going to get right on into it. And alas, take a quick look at the box here. We have our stamp here with the movie logo, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, as well as Godzilla 2000, SH Monsterarts, 70th of Godzilla. You know, all your trademark stickers, Bandai Namco, Machinations, Bandai. Dang, there's a lot, isn't there? So just kind of skim through this real quick. A lot of just sample photos, stock images that they use to promote the figure, you know, to help get you to buy it. But I'm pretty sure, you know, if you are a fan of the 2000s designs, you know, you're probably going to pick it up. Unless you're waiting for the Hyatt toys, which is totally fine. So let's go ahead and get into it. I've heard nothing but amazing things for this figure, so I'm very excited to see if it lives up to the hype. I'm very, very excited. Here it is. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and just try to get it out. There we go. First piece of plastic down, and as you can see, extremely wrapped with this kind of plastic, just so nothing gets scuffed along the spikes or the paint on the nails. So I'm just gonna set Godzilla down right there, and ta-da! I haven't even gotten a good look at the front, but ta-da! Here it is, Godzilla 2000 from Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Just off of the, you know, off the rip, I really do like the detailing. It's kind of what you'd expect from a Monsterarts, though. As you can see, there are the spines, which are very, very nice, rich purple-esque. I would actually say more of like a reddish purple. I think the correct term is velvet. It kind of looks like that, but maybe not. Maybe more towards the purple than the red. But very, very nice. Regardless, you have a lot of the kind of like shading done on the dorsal plates, which is just awesome. Very, very awesome. Love the design, love the coloration as well. And then moving towards the front part of the figure, it looks pretty good. Menacing wise, can't really see the eyes, but very menacing looking for Godzilla 2000. I'm just gonna do a quick eye test. Yeah, my eyes look pretty good. So if you can see there, the eyes do look pretty well centered, which is awesome. It's always a little unfortunate when they are not. I will say, got a little bit of a loose head, not a big issue though. But just to kind of showcase everything, there is the open jaw. Nothing too crazy, you know, not a lot of open jaw I'm getting. Let me try and force it a little bit more. There we go, a little bit more there for a good roar. And then in terms of looking up, actually not bad. I actually do like the neck articulation there. It looks a little awkward right here. It looks a little slim, but I really do like the range of articulation you can get. There's straight down. Obviously, we do have a seam there. Straight down and then straight up. So I got to give it props. I really do like that because I really wish the Godzilla Evolved had that. I felt like it was kind of static in its neck posture. It was just kind of like straight. You could kind of look up. I think you could look down a little bit more, but not too crazy for looking up. So design-wise, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I believe the suit designer is Shinichi Wakasa. Very, very awesome. I do believe the lead for this project, for the figure itself, was Yuji Sakai. So I think he was on the box, actually, now that I think about it. But let's go ahead and move on toward the articulation just to admire the beauty one last time for the Godzilla 2000. Awesome. Off to a good start. Really like the design. So starting off with articulation, kind of like what we saw, we do have mouth articulation. You know, you kind of squeeze it open a little bit more. You've got a little bit of a tongue, but it kind of just floats back down there, as you can see. Naturally just goes down there. But headpiece, very loose, which is good, bad, maybe not. You can swivel it around, which I think you can go all the way around. Yeah, you can go all the way around. And you can look up, just careful, because these spikes are colliding with one another. So, you know, don't go too crazy so you don't like scuff the paint. Looking down-wise, pretty good. I actually really like that. And then like we saw with the looking up, you know, you add a little bit more articulation to this neck region, you can get a little bit of a looking up posture. Just try not to scuff the paint off for the these back plates. But we do have like 3 pieces of articulation. It's kind of hard to see. There's 1, 2, 3. So there's the head, the neck, and then I guess the lower neck right in there. So I guess that's probably where they put a little bit more of articulation into it there. So I gotta say, I really like it, at least for that piece. Kind of just seams out though, but I guess that's to be expected. Arms here, all the way around, which is awesome. There is kind of like a shoulder piece right in here, but I'm not really getting a lot of movement, mainly in the second piece. You know, we can come up, we can come down, and then we can go out. There we go, we can go out. And then obviously we do have rotation along the wrist as well as the hand. No different hand accessories. I think this is just a one-to-one figure. No accessories, it seems. We do kind of have that like little abdomen joint area as well as a second piece like right in here. You can kind of see it moving around there just to give it some extra movement. Moving on towards the lower body. I'm gonna move that up. Look at that, isn't that funny? Oh, getting a little bit of movement over there. Don't want that. We can come up here. We can kind of come back. I'm getting the resistance there, but you can do it. I think you can do it. The knee joints here and out. There we go. And then moving on towards the foot, you can rotate it as well as you kind of have like a little like back calf piece, which is just kind of floating there. I don't think it's a point of articulation. I think it's just floating there. All right. So lastly, let's go ahead and move towards the tail. So we have, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31 different allocated slots. Obviously, I don't think there's 31 exact points of articulation. I would say there's probably like somewhere around the 20-ish range. But as you can see, you can get a lot of nice fluid motion with the tail, which is really cool. I've seen a lot of cool figure photography with the tail, like just going absolutely nuts. Like people are like wrapping it around and around again. Like you can get like that. And I'm trying to think of the last figure I had where it was kind of falling. Oh, it was the Decisive Battle Mechagodzilla, where the tail would just fall, and you know that's very unfortunate. But this one, you know, you can get a lot of good stuff going on here. See, it's holding pretty well, so it's, you know, pretty cool. It's always awesome to see Monsterarts, you know, make a really great tail, because I think they can be extremely good at it. But yeah, and knock on wood, but nothing has fallen apart yet, which is honestly kind of rare, especially for a tail piece. Usually I feel like I start articulating the tail and then boom, one thing comes out. But pretty cool. I got to admit, it's pretty good so far. I mean, that's really about it, if I'm being honest. I mean, I don't know if I went over the tail paint apps and the mouth paint apps. We'll go ahead and just bring that down. There is the mouth, which honestly is a pretty dark color for the teeth. I can't recall the teeth being more of the skin tone. That might just be a quality control issue. But I gotta say, yeah, it's doing the job, which I think is what we all want Monsterarts to do at the end of the day. You know, you're paying a premium for these figures compared to the new Haya toys. But as you can tell, you do have a lot of articulation range. And I want to say that detail is usually a little bit more intricate on the Monsterarts, like there's a little bit more depth on the suit, stuff like that. But I gotta say, I am enjoying it. I'm very much enjoying it. I'm very glad that, like, look at that, dude. Look at that. It's almost like a straight S. That's actually really good. Straight S without any tail issues is really good. I'm very glad that they kind of, you know, got that to be a thing, because I think some of the more recent tails I've done have been a little spotty. But I'm very glad that this one is, you know, tons and tons of motion and range with the articulation. So clappers for Monsterarts on that end. Let's go ahead and move on to the comparisons, and then we'll call it a video, wrapping up the conclusions. So I do have the special color version Yuji Sakai Godzilla 2000, which was the first mold they did, where in all honesty it was not really that suit accurate at all, but I did get it just because it reminded me of the Kiryu Saga, and I was like, well, it'll probably be a decade until they make it, and I want to say it did take them maybe like 6 or 7 years. And I don't even have that one. No, I do. But pretty cool. You know, it's awesome to see, you know, the more of the suit accurate Godzilla 2000 from the Versus Megaguirus film compared to this one, where I think it was just kind of like a Yuji Sakai redesign, or like a resculpt. I think that's the correct terminology. But very glad that they fully committed to this here. And then lastly, we just have a fun one. This is, I think, the Godzilla 2000 film, theater exclusive, where I think it's replicating the final scene with Godzilla and Orga, where he's kind of heating up. I want to say that's it, but just a fun design, you know, Bandai versus, you know, the Monsterarts versus the movie Monster series. And obviously we saw the Monsterarts first. But yeah, I gotta say, I am definitely enjoying it. You know, everything seems pretty smooth. You know, there's nothing like extremely stiff. Everything kind of feels pretty fluid in terms of like that end. There you go. You can recreate that like absolute cinema pick. But that was a little awkward there. But anyways, I really do got to say, it is pretty good. I imported mine from Japan, even though I think it came out in Japan a little bit earlier. But I was just like, I was on the fence of committing to it, but the Godzilla 2000 design in general is just awesome. It's just awesome. I would probably say it doesn't have as much green as like the Megaguirus suit. I think it's more of like the charcoal gray. Now there are hints of green in there. It's kind of hard to tell. The more I look at it, it's more of like the charcoal gray. Not saying that's a bad thing, but yeah. And here is the kind of the no, I think the arms were like this, right? No, they were front facing. They were like pretty close to the hands for the body slam against Megaguirus there, so you can replicate that, and then you know you can have your tail do a bunch of fun stuff. So yeah, I gotta say, thoroughly impressed. It's probably their best release this year. The Mechagodzilla I would say was pretty good, besides the tail issue I had, and that one had a lot of accessories. It was pretty pricey. I know that they've done the Legion, which is extremely pricey. I think it's the most expensive one they've had. What else have they made? I'm blanking. I feel like I haven't done a Monsterarts video in a while. Was Evolve this year? Evolve was not this year. The Evolve was last year. Huh. The Mechagodzilla 2, was that also this year? Oh, the Burning Godzilla. The Burning Godzilla I would say was also pretty good. So I'm trying to recall some of the other ones, but none of them are coming to my head. And wow, I feel like this is going to be an awesome figure photography, just in general, all the range you can put on it, which is just awesome. So yeah, Monsterarts, they did pretty darn good on this one. We do have the Haya version, which I do believe is from the Godzilla 2000 film. Not necessarily the versus Megaguirus. But I'm sure that they will do fine. They have a pretty good record in terms of that, besides, you know, maybe some small things, but you know, the main difference between the two is the price. I really like the small spine detailing there, but mainly the price difference between the two, and you know, obviously a little bit of quality, because I feel like Haya is a little bit more of like a bulky figure, whereas the Monsterarts, I feel like they're kind of slimmer, especially the Godzilla ones. Obviously not the bulky monsters, but like I feel like with the Haya you can't necessarily do. Actually, that's incorrect. I'm gonna say that's incorrect, because I feel like the 91 figure, which I do not own, I feel like the 91 figure I've seen it have really good tail articulation, just kind of like this one here. But yeah, it's like, look at that, and it's holding up well too. That is just so cool. I'm very glad that this one was not a dud, because I feel like if this one was a dud release, then oof, people would not have let Monsterarts down on that one. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video here. Just want to do a quick review of the, ooh, there we go. Nope, let's fix it. Looks a little awkward. Kind of reminds me of like, this is a good figure for like doing those Pipeworks Godzillas. I feel like they mainly use the 2000 design there, but very cool. A lot of fluidity with that, so you can do a lot of cool poses and stuff. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm impressed. So I think Monsterarts did a really good job on this one. I think upcoming they have Megaguirus, but Megaguirus is like $240, and I really don't know about spending 200. Like, it's like I think it's like 220 to 240 for Megaguirus, plus some of the the little bugs. I keep forgetting the name, but I know they start with the name Mega. Sorry. But yeah, I think that one's probably a little bit out of my price range, especially for Megaguirus, like as a character. Like if it was like, maybe that 150 range, 120 range, like this figure here, I would feel, pretty good about it. But pushing 200 for Megaguirus is kind of crazy because that's how much like the Mecha Godzilla costs. And I feel like that has a lot more of that die cast, quality compared to more of the standard one. I'm not saying it's bad, but I felt like that one might have a little more of a price justification because I think that one was like 190 and the Megaguirus is up. And I know the current state of the world, has kind of pushed it to that level. But I would probably be passing on the Megaguirus. I wouldn't mind picking up the clear exclusive Godzilla Store exclusive they did, where it's kind of like an orange and a purple. I wouldn't mind picking that one up to kind of go with this one. It's a shame. I would get the Monsterarts, but it's pretty expensive. And not to say this one isn't expensive for just the base figure. It is pretty pricey. But I think for an articulated Godzilla 2000, I think it's pretty good. So let's see how high it does. I will not be picking up that one. I wouldn't mind seeing the Atomic Breath glow with like the orange. I would love to see that. That'd be very awesome to see as well. Probably another 5 years till that happens though for Monsterarts, at least high in like 2 weeks after it's released. But with that being said, I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know what you guys thought of the SH Monsterarts Godzilla versus Megaguirus Godzilla 2000, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya!